This is Andy Paroff, Boxing Social in association with Betfred. I'm glad to join by Showtime Stephen Espinoza. Stephen, how are you doing?
I'm great. Thanks for asking.
Good to hear. Obviously, we're out here in Las Vegas ahead of Saturday night, Wilder-Ortiz 2. What are your thoughts on their rematch?
Look, it's a great rematch. Anytime you had a fight that is of the quality the first one was, and one of the most entertaining heavyweight fights in a long time, and I think really built a tremendous year in 2018 for Deontay. Starting with that fight and then rolling into another tremendously entertaining, dramatic fight with Fury. I think those two fights did a lot to get Deontay to a new level of awareness and popularity.
Time has obviously surpassed since they did last fight. Do you think age will play a factor this time around for Luis?
It's got to. I mean, look, time's a factor for me, and I'm a little bit older, than Ruiz-Ortiz. I'm not the athlete that he is, but the reality is, at a certain point, conventional wisdom says fighters get old, and sometimes it happens overnight. The last time we've seen Ortiz, in the ring against a top-tier opponent, he acquitted himself admirably. He's had a couple of fights after that where he didn't perform quite as well. But if you look at him physically, he looks in top condition, better condition than you've seen in quite a while. So I think that's the one question mark going into the fight, is how much has Ruiz-Ortiz aged in the last 18 months?
What do you think Deontay Wilder would have worked on specifically for the rematch?
Lefties are tough, and skilled lefties are also tough. I mean, a guy like Ortiz will make you pay when you make mistakes. So Deontay will take chances, will take risks, do things unconventional. That can come back to haunt you against a guy as skilled as Ortiz. So I think you might see a little bit more of a conventional fight from Wilder, a little bit safer, until he at least figures out what kind of opponent he's got in front of him in that fight.
So in your opinion, then, how do you see the fight playing out on Saturday night?
I see something that's pretty similar to the first one, which means I think both guys can be at risk. Both guys can have moments of danger, and a razor-thin margin, where at various points, 30 seconds one way or the other, and we have a different ending. So I think this plays out very similarly to the first one.
And obviously on the undercard, we see Leo Santa Cruz attempt to become a 4-weight world champion. If he's successful, just how impressive, well, even if he isn't successful, but how impressive a career has he had?
He's phenomenal. I think Leo is one of the guys I think that doesn't get the credit that he deserves. I think because he is rather humble, he's sort of self-effacing. I don't think he gets as much credit as he deserves. He's quiet, but he is very quietly one of the most entertaining fighters in the sport. And there's another one, Abner Mares. But I think, as he says, and he makes clear every time he speaks to the public, he's in there to entertain. There are very few fighters who say, I am here to entertain. Even if it means taking some more punishment, that's his goal. And for a boxing fan, that's the kind of fighter you love.
And I just wanted to get your thoughts moving away from this card in a matter of a couple of weeks' time. Andy Ruiz, Anthony Joshua 2 for the unified world heavyweight titles. Again, what are your thoughts on that rematch?
I think everybody is. If you are not interested in that rematch, then you're not a boxing fan.
How do you see it playing out?
Well, that's another one. Look, Andy is a deceptive fighter, deceptive because of his physical presence, and I think a lot of people only see his physicality, and they don't see the skills. And I'm not saying that was the problem with AJ, but I think if he was in a package, so to speak, like Deontay Wilder presents, then we'd be talking about the guy as one of the pound-for-pound best in the sport. But he has tremendous skills. He obviously has power. He's very quick, and he's got tremendous stamina. None of that is apparent from from looking at him physically.
Which rematch, in your opinion, provided Deontay Wilder's successful on Saturday night, he's obviously going to be facing Tyson Fury next, as far as we're aware. Which rematch do you think is bigger for the heavyweight division, Wilder-Fury 2 or Ruiz-Joshua 2?
it's interesting. It's a really good question. I don't think I could pick the two because they're both tremendously important. Ruiz, you have a brand new face on the scene who really has captured the imagination of really the common man here in the U.S. He's certainly relatable to anybody who isn't built like Anthony Joshua or Deontay Wilder, and that's why he's so popular. But I think we've got two absolutely engaging and intriguing rematches. If Wilder is able to get past Ortiz, and I think both of them are must see for the boxing fan.
Well, Stephen, I know I've kept you for a while now. You've got other people hanging around me, you might want to catch you. So I appreciate your time. Thanks for speaking to myself on Boxing Social.
Happy to do it anytime.